Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Music Den. I'm your host, Armando Venditti. Hoping you guys are having a great day. And above all, such are indeed looking after yourselves and one another. Ladies and gentlemen, look who I have with me. It's Bill Schuster. How's it going, Bill?
Oh, me. Okay. Hey. Hi, Armando.
Yeah. How you doing? How are you doing?
Decent.
Good.
Ready. We're ready to roll on this here. We're gonna make
Perfect.
this happen.
Yeah, no, this is going to be a good episode. Ladies and gentlemen, we have gathered here together today to finish off our series of episodes on Have a Nice Decade. We have been looking at our favorite 10 albums throughout the years of the 60s, 70s, 80s, and you guessed it, we are going to focus on the 1990s. Some would say that it was a decade of slim pickings regarding good albums to listen to. I would agree to an extent. Just quickly, was this hard for you to do to put a list together for the 90s?
This was much easier than the 70s and 80s. I
Oh,
I
good.
still I had to leave some stuff out, and I'd alluded in the previous episode to how I mostly left out a lot of lesser known artists that I listened to a lot, especially from the mid 90s on, like obscure prog artists and stuff like that. That really had no mainstream success, but they're among my favorites.
Okay.
I didn't
Okay.
put like Lana Lane or Spock's Beard, the Flower Kings, none of that kind of stuff. Porcupine Tree, whatever. And I didn't put like Blue Oyster Cult spinoffs like X Brothers, Brain Surgeons, or anything like that that
Yeah.
would actually probably have been on
Yeah.
a
No,
list that everybody would go, "Who the hell are these people?"
yeah.
So I
Yeah.
tried to keep it a little more mainstream. There's a couple oddballs here, but just because it's me.
Well, for me, I found it more difficult in the 90s to pick the albums. And although it goes all over the map for me musically, I was changing it out at the last minute, before we started taping yesterday. I'm like, oh, okay, okay, no, not this one. Put this one in. So, but I've got my 10 and we're gonna go through our list. So, as is customary with this episodes, Mr. Schuster's gonna go first. So, Bill, what is your first choice?
Thank you. I do want to do a real quick cheat here because I'm big on my props. Uh, I
Yeah.
pulled one out because I did not have a prop. I had this album on cassette, and well, my cassettes are long gone, so I've been looking to replace it. I haven't found a copy out in the wild, but when I do, so a quick honorable mention to "For My Broken Heart" by Reba McEntire, one of the
Oh,
saddest, heartbreaking, beautiful albums ever.
yeah.
And yeah,
I
I won't
have
go
it.
into depth. I don't want to cheat too hard, but yeah,
Yeah, I have
it
it.
was originally.
Yeah, yeah. I've seen her in concert too, so she was good.
Yeah. And if you know that one, you know you need a box of Kleenex nearby. So, you know.
Bobby. That's all I'm gonna
Oh
say.
yeah,
Bobby.
yeah. My official start of my top 10, though, I'm going to go for something completely different. In fact, it's something completely different for this artist and the stuff he's most well known for. He didn't
Liberace.
make it. No, I mean, he was
Hmm.
eligible in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. He
Hmm.
died in the 90s, and this was the last album that was released in his lifetime. Frank Zappa, Civilization Phase 3. It's a bizarre two CD set. Um, I mean, it's this great digipack package. It's a really cool little package here, but it's voices, some of which were recorded as far back as the 60s, some of which were much more up to date in the early 90s, all blended together, telling the story of people living inside a piano. It's a bit of a nonsense story. The story's not even really all that important, but these spoken word bits are interspersed in the midst of mostly Frank and his synclavier
Yeah.
compositions. There is some uh, live band playing mixed in on disc two in particular, but it's not really necessary to me. The synclavier compositions are great on their own, especially one that closes disc one called In Light. That's letter N dash Lite. I think that's my favorite Frank Zappa song. So again, I'm kind of an outlier on the Zappa train. I like a whole bunch of stuff throughout his career, but I really, really love his classical stuff and his later instrumentals and clavier stuff. I wish he would have been not such a heavy smoker and got himself the good old lung cancer and whatnot, and died so young, because I would have loved to have seen what he did further as a composer.
Yeah.
But he went out a high note with this and the Yellow Shark, and yeah, great stuff there. So yeah, Frank Zappa, Civilization Phase 3 is my first pick.
My first choice for this episode, Depeche Mode, Violator. Oh my God. Following the success of Music for the Masses in 87 and their live album 101 or 101, 88, this came out in 90. I was in college. Yeah, with the lead single Personal Jesus, an amazing album. The entire album is good. And if you're familiar with Depeche Mode, you know that Martin Gore, the main songwriter of the band, his lyrics are slightly askew in terms of his personal relationships, his views on sexuality, and well, that's all I can really say in terms of that. But just very sort of idiosyncratic in terms of how they relate to him and his experiences. The album is an amazing album. This is where the band started to go into more acoustic instrumentation, live instruments in terms of electric guitars. Starts off World in My Eyes. Just an amazing track. Sweetest Perfection. It's track two, Personal Jesus, Halo, Waiting for the Night. Enjoy the Silence. My personal favorite from the album. That beefy, you know, uh, backing track, with that sort of half snare drum hit that comes in on the track. Just an amazing. And, the video for Enjoy the Silence, for example, you've got Dave Gahan, in the lead character, dressed up as a king, roaming the desert. Okay. He's got his crown on his head, his robe across his back, thinking that he, has everything in the world, but he's still traveling. He doesn't know where he fits in. That's a very telling message in the video. But enough of my soapbox. It's an amazing album. Other songs of note: Policy of Truth, Blue Dress, ends off with track nine, Clean. There was a Japanese import released, available in Japan with additional tracks. I wish they would have released it here because the additional tracks make the album. This is a really good album, a very strong album. Check it out. Violator, 1990, my first choice, Depeche Mode.
Just I agree. My favorite song is "Enjoy the Silence" also. And on that note, if you've never heard it, I would recommend an excellent cover of that song by Italian Beauty and the Beast hard rock metal band Lacuna Coil.
Okay.
They do an excellent version.
Okay. All right.
The contrasting female and male vocals. So yeah, it's quite nice. All right.
Mm.
Speaking of female vocals, well, there's three of them here. And boy, are they crazy and sexy and cool. That's right, baby. It's TLC. Oh, yeah.
In the house.
Yes. They are.
Oh, yeah, man. Oh, yeah. Yep.
Left Eye Chili and T-Boz. Yep. Um, wow. I know you're on board with the Prince cover, If I Was Your Girlfriend. They did a great version of that, but of course the hits on here, I mean, Creep, Red Light Special, Waterfalls, Dig It On You. This thing was a monster in
Yeah.
94, 95.
Yeah.
This was when Stacy and I were getting together, and we're listening to a whole lot of local St. Louis, Missouri. It's over an hour from us, but local radio station wise, the R&B station at the time was playing the current R&B music of the times. It obviously was all over this album, so we heard a ton of it.
Yeah.
We had to buy it. Um, I have uh, very adult memories related to Red Light Special, and I'll just leave that there. So that always puts a smile on my face.
Yeah.
But Waterfalls, even though it's an easy pick, that probably remains my favorite on the album. It's probably the most famous, the one that people identify with this album,
Yeah.
and I think deservedly so. I really enjoy the whole thing, but yeah, that's great. And of course, it has the cool little interludes, intermission bits throughout the album. So it really is a whole album experience, even though it had multiple successful singles.
Yeah.
Uh, I dig their previous album to a lesser degree, and of course, the follow up to this was pretty big also. But
Fan
this one
mail.
still, this is the one
Yeah.
that remains special,
Hmm.
partly because of its because of its relationship to me and my wife, but also just because it's a damn good album. I mean, yeah, this is some of the best R&B music of the '90s.
Mm.
So,
Okay.
TLC, crazy, sexy, cool.
All right. No,
Going super
cool.
commercial for a change here.
Cool. No, I like fan mail.
Yes,
Um,
that's excellent. Also,
that was a good album. Um, it's it's sad that we lost Left Eye.
yeah,
You know, it's just really sad. And by the way, Prince never was never really a fan of people doing covers, but he loved TLC. He let them. He gave them permission to do that cover of "If I Was Your Girlfriend." My next choice, we're going to 1991, Queen with Innuendo, released February 5th, 1991 for the new label at the time, Hollywood Records. They're back on Warner Brothers distribution. Uh, their last album with Freddie Mercury during his lifetime. This album was seen as a return to form for Queen in terms of the rock audiences. Headlong, the lead single released in North America, was all over the radio at the time in Canada on Q107 in Toronto. Um, yeah, this is a return to form. I said that to me when this album came out first, that it was a harken back to A Night at the Opera. And lo and behold, Brian May had said the same thing in interviews. But it's a heavy album. In spots. You have the lead off track, the title track, 6 minutes and 31 seconds. This is Bohemian Rhapsody for the 90s. Different sections, very intricate, featuring Steve Howe on Spanish guitar, as they put, quote unquote, somewhere in the middle. Um, and he had said that when he recorded his part for the piece, he was scared shitless because he loved the band and he didn't want to fuck up, right? He didn't. Other songs of note: I'm Going Slightly Mad, the second track; Headlong, lead off single; I Can't Live With You; Don't Try So Hard; Ride the Wild Wind; ends off side one; All God's People, which was a holdover from Freddie Mercury's opera album with Montserrat Caballé, Barcelona, co-written with Mike Moran. These Are the Days of Our Lives. Beautifully done. Delilah, which is the one track that Roger Taylor says he cannot get behind. But it was a
all day long.
Freddie Mercury composition, and he demanded that it be on the album. Roger Taylor has said, I can't get behind singing about someone's cat. Anyway, that's another issue. The,
I like Delilah. I think it's adorable.
yeah, the Hitman, blistering guitar and drumming on this track, and an over the top vocal from Freddie Mercury. Bijou, beautiful guitars interwoven with keyboards and synths. Um, an amazing track, and it ends off with "The Show Must Go On." An amazing album, an amazing way to end off their career with Freddie Mercury. This album, would look at it as a failure. You're idiots. This hit the top 30 in the U.S., for a band who was out of the public eye in North America for a good chunk of the 80s, whose last album hit number 49, The Miracle. This album was seen as the return of Queen. And people thought that they were going to be around for a lot longer. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. It is my favorite album from 1991, Queen, Innuendo.
That the first time I saw that video for These Are the Days of Our Lives.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
You just knew it was done. Freddie was not okay.
yeah. No, it was hard to watch. And I was in denial for a long time about, no, he's fine, he's fine. He wasn't fine. So, yeah, yeah.
Yep, still greatly missed. All right, something uh, a little less, heaven forbid, so depressing.
Okay.
oh, you know what's coming, don't you? Heaven forbid, Blue Oyster Cult.
Oh my God.
That's right. Look at that cover. Yeah, some people hate that cover. I think it's hilarious. It's campy. It's like some of their, over the top, goofy, cheesy monster song lyrics. It fits right in with that kind of stuff.
Phantom of the
But
Opera
this,
much?
yeah, um, this was really their comeback album. I mean, it was the first album of new music since Imaginos, and well, that's a whole different ball of wax. It wasn't even truly, though it was legally a Blue Oyster Cult album. Really, you got to go all the way back to Club Ninja in '86. Um, Here we have three of the original members: Alan Lanier, Eric Bloom, and Donald Buckdharma Roser. And Donald is the primary force on this particular comeback album. He wrote most of the songs. I'd say he sang more than anybody did on this album. They were recorded over a stretch of
Yeah,
time
yeah,
in the '90s. This wasn't all like one session, um, but it holds together well. Harvest Moon was a very brief blip on the radio around here. I mean, I heard it like twice, um, but it's a Donald Roser classic. I mean, it's right there with Don't Fear the Reaper and that sort of sound.
yeah,
If people who are looking for more of that big, obvious Blue Oyster Cult commercial success, yeah, Harvest Moon fits right along there, even though it wasn't actually a hit. But it opens with See You in Black, though, which is just an Eric Bloom led rocker, just all out, you know, wanting to see this woman who's being abused in black because he wants her husband that's abusing her dead. He wants her to be widowed. Okay, well, that's a
okay,
way. And they, for a band that was never truly a heavy metal band, that's a hell of a hard rocking track to open the album with. It's
yeah,
pretty intense. For okay, Blue Oyster Cult is making a statement. We're back.
yeah,
There's all kinds of cool songs on here. I really love Damaged, Real World, and Living for Me in particular. The final track is, a live version of In Me from their Mirrors album, which was pretty much just thrown on here as an extra to give Alan Lanier some kind of writing credit for the album. You know, it was kind of unnecessary, but it's still a
yeah.
great song. Uh,
Hmm.
so yeah, Blue Oyster Cult did not stop being a creative force just because they no longer had a record contract for a number of years.
Mm. No, that's true.
So yeah, heaven forbid Blue Oyster Cult.
My next choice, we're going to go in the complete opposite direction. 1992 with Prince and Love Symbol. Um, my God, this album came out a year after Diamonds and Pearls came out in 1991. Diamonds and Pearls was a massive hit for Prince. He had just re-signed with Warner's after the release of Diamonds and Pearls for uh, 100, it's like 10 albums for like $100 million, and he was obsessed at the time uh, with the fact that Michael Jackson and Madonna were getting these big numbers in terms of their new contracts. And they said, okay, we'll give you the money if your next five albums sell 5 million copies each. and that was written into the contract. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. Left Symbol was originally going to be a double album, a concept album. He's got 18 tracks on here. Uh, and originally there were going to be 24 tracks, but Warner Brothers said no, we're not doing that. You're going to cut some of the stuff off of here. Songs of note: My Name is Prince, funky as all get out. Ass shaking to the nines. Sexy motherfucker. Yeah, I said sexy motherfucker. Uh, bit of blues, bit of jazz, all Prince. Okay, sexy motherfucker. I'm sorry, that's the name of the song. Okay.
And he says it a lot in that song.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You sexy motherfucker. I can't even do it. My voice is fucked. But yeah. Um, but he does it so well. Uh, other songs of note: The Morning Papers, The Max, Blue Light, Want to Melt with You, Sweet Baby, The Continental, Damn You, great ballad. Arrogance, which is a bit of just an interlude. The Flow, great, great track. Um, Seven, which was the third single release from the album, which was an amazing piece of pop music. Use of sitar on this. Uh, uh, Other songs of note: And God Created a Woman, Three Chains of Gold, and it ends off with The Sacrifice of Victor. Now, in this album, you have a little segues featuring none other than Kirstie Alley. Don't ask me why. He was a fan of hers. She was a fan of his. She played a character by the name of Vanessa Bartholomew. I don't know why. She was a reporter. Without the entire album, without the 24 tracks, the storyline gets a little screwed up. Okay, but the music overall is good. It's funky. It's pop. Sexy motherfucker. I said it again. Yeah, there you go. There you go. All right, sexy motherfucker. All right, that's my last time I'm going to say it.
If you
Sexy
say sexy
motherfucker.
motherfucker 5 times fast in front of a mirror, Prince appears behind you.
Yeah, with a butcher knife. It's like, that's my song, motherfucker. Okay, I'm moving on. Okay, that is my choice for 92. As I said, the list was getting a little difficult for the 90s, but I do like this album. I do skip some of the interludes, but with Kirstie Alley. But the music overall is good. It's funky, it's pop, it's Prince.
All right, my next choice. This band made an appearance in the 80s with their debut. This was only 4 years later. At the beginning of the 90s, it was their commercial breakthrough and, frankly, their commercial peak. They had a top 40 hit with the song Joey, and that was the biggest hit they would ever have. Of course, it's Concrete Blonde with Bloodletting. Uh, got to see them on this tour, and it was amazing. Yeah, being up close with the band and yeah, visually interacting with Johnette Napolitano, and yeah, she was intense and mesmerizing. Um, and James Mankey's guitar was as gorgeous as ever. By this time, the third album, original drummer Harry Rushkoff had been replaced by former Roxy Music drummer Paul Thompson. Um, and yeah, they would play drummer shuffle for a couple of albums. But on this one, it was Johnette, James, and Paul, the trio. Uh, there is probably the big cult favorite for Concrete Blonde fans here. Even though Johnette's a great songwriter, this one she didn't write. It's Tomorrow Windy that closes the album, written by Andy Preboy, formerly leader of Wall of Voodoo, in their second phase. Um, in fact, I believe Andy plays on this, and also on Andy's first solo album, Upon My Wicked Son, which came out, I think, about a year after this. Johnette appeared on Andy's own version of Tomorrow Windy. So they worked well together. Um, Caroline was the other single off the album, not as big. as Joey, but quite lovely. But again, like most of these albums, it's not all about the singles. It's the deeper cuts, the title track, Bloodletting, the vampire song that opens it, very gothic.
Yeah.
Really played into that image at this time. Darkening of the Light, I Don't Need a Hero, The Sky is a Poisonous Garden. By the time this album had come out, I was a massive fan of the first two albums. So it was an auto buy before I ever heard a note. I said, okay, got to have it. And yeah, it remains, yeah, a favorite. And yeah, it's the one most people, if they only have one Concrete Blonde album or only know one, it's probably Bloodletting. And it's not at all a bad place to start if you're interested.
I have the reissue. That's a double disc of Bloodletting. Yeah, no, it's a good album. It's a good album, and we are going to do ranking the albums on Concrete Blonde. I'm committing Bill to that, or he should be committed completely, but I'm committing Bill to that. So that's a good choice.
Put in a straitjacket.
I know. I got one for you. I'll send it to you. All right. Good choice. My next choice, 1993, Jellyfish, Spilt Milk, released to Virgin in Canada and to Charisma in the US. Power pop at its best. Andy Sturmer and Roger Joseph Manning, multi-instrumentalists. This was the last of their albums. Uh, Jellyfish were an interesting hybrid of psychedelia, 70s pop, and rock. You're talking a cross between Queen and the Beach Boys and everything in between. All done in very uh, lush harmonies, beautiful arrangements in terms of the pop sensibility that they had going for them. Starts off with Hush, beautiful a cappella intro to the album, a beautiful a cappella piece, joining a fan club. Wonderful. Sabrina Paste and Play-Doh, which is, whenever I hear this song, I think of Maxwell Silverhammer from Abbey Road. I don't know why, but I do. New Mistake, one of the singles from the album, the second single, Go Out Into Sympathy is a great track. The lead-off single, The Ghost at number one. Uh, Amazing, grandiose arrangements, beautiful harmonies, wonderful use of harpsichord on the breakdown sections. You can hear the Beach Boys influences. You can hear the influence of Queen on this track. Over the top vocals. Bye 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 is another good one. All is Forgiven. Russian Hill. He's My Best Friend. Too Much Too Little Too Late. Track 11. And the album ends off with Brighter Days, 6 minutes and 12 seconds. At the time of this release, The Ghost at number one was all over Much Music. All over Much Music. You can check out the video on YouTube. At the same time, Virgin Records released a little album by the name of Are You Gonna Go My Way from Lenny Kravitz. That was a massive hit. Massive. And it overshadowed Spilt Milk. The band couldn't really gain momentum in terms of popularity, in terms of acceptance. Sorry. And at one point, Manning got a call from Sturmer, and Sturmer basically said, "Do you want to break up?" And Manning said, "Okay, all right." They were drifting apart at this point. Apparently, Andy Sturmer had written a song. They were working on song ideas for the third release, as Bill hits the camera. And Sturmer played a song from Roger Manning, and it was an acoustic piece, more of a country track. And Manning apparently didn't really think it was that great of a song. And Sturmer, being very sensitive to criticism, was not happy with that response. So they eventually just went their separate ways. There is a box set called Fan Club, which is not sanctioned by the band or endorsed by the record companies. A fan put the uh, box set together. It's out there for like $300. If you want to spend it, go ahead. I would never do it. You can still get these albums on Discogs, on uh, Amazon for a good price. Uh, this is a follow up to their debut release, Belly Button, in 1990. Uh, yeah, short but sweet. Jellyfish, Spelt Milk, my choice for 1993.
Good choice. Yeah, I own both the original albums, and yeah, I think they had addition by subtraction. They lost a member from the debut, and I think it improved them because I prefer Spilt Milk over Belly Button. So yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
yeah, I'm not paying that much for the box set either. I don't need it anywhere near that bad.
No,
Great band, great albums, but
yeah, and I mean, they couldn't sustain it. They couldn't sustain it. I also think that maybe Virgin and Charisma didn't know what to do with them.
oh, let's see. Oh, looks like I'm going to get commercial again. Super
Oh,
commercial.
not commercial.
Yes, one of the biggest albums of the 90s. Mm. Jagged Little Pill, Alanis Morissette. It had to be here. It had to be here because not only was it a commercial success, it was a personal success for me. I still love this album.
Mm,
Uh, every song on here, the big hits, they're still not played out to me in all the album cuts. I don't care that some of the lyrics in Ironic are not really examples of irony. They work well to tell the story, and it's still very touching and such a great song. Yeah, I mean, most people have heard this. You certainly heard the hits.
hmm
Yeah, you learn Hand in My Pocket, All I Really Want, You Ought to Know, Head Over Feet. Ironic, it was a monster album. It's still a monster album. Still her biggest success, obviously. She's put out a lot of really good music since then, but unfortunately, it's one of those cases where this was so huge, it's overshadowed everything else she's ever done.
I know.
But it really is a damn good album. So highly deserving of its success. So yeah, Alanis is my big obvious commercial pick this time.
The one lyric in the track "Wake Up." There's no fundamental excuse for the granted I'm taken for. Hello. Anybody out there that's been in that situation with a friend or a partner or a work situation, you know. I mean, if you know, you know. Kind of a thing. Okay, my next one, 1994, Stone Temple Pilots, Purple. Their sophomore release, 11 cuts. I saw Stone Temple Pilots open up for the Stones with this album on this tour. A great album. Um, this was around the time when grunge was big. I mean, they were even doing fashion shows with grunge lines, for God's sake. I mean, give me a fucking break. It's a ripped pair of jeans. Get over it. Um, and a plaid shirt. Okay. Um, this is a great album. The lead off single, Vaseline. Um, just first of all, Robert and Dean DeLeo as songwriters, get out of here. Like they are the best in terms of heavy melodic rock. Starts off with Meat Plow, Vaseline into second track, first single, Lounge Fly, Interstate Love Song. If that's not an ode to Zeppelin, I don't know what is in terms of the arrangement of the track. Great vocals from Scott Weiland, still remains great track. Pretty Penny, one of the acoustic bass tracks on the album. This is their ode to the Beatles. Uh, Silver Gun Superman, great track. Big Empty, Unglued, Moderation is Masturbation. What is what and what makes you feel good? There you go. There you go. Okay. Um, Army Ants, another great track, ends off with kitchenware and candy bars. Beautiful, beautiful. Heavy, melodic, and very impactful for me. Every song on this album, I don't skip. There's even a hidden track after kitchenware and candy bars, about 2 minutes into it. Thanking people, it's a lounge track, very done, very sort of kitschy and very campy. Thanking everybody for buying this second album, that kind of thing. Um, if you know, you know. This is a great album. Could they sustain the success and keep it going with Scott Weiland? Hell no. Uh, Tiny Music, songs from the music from the Vatican gift shop, go away. Really. It's, this album to me still stands out as one of the supreme albums of 1994. Yes, they were caught up in the grunge scene, but they were more heavy melodic rock. And the songwriting partnership of Robert and Dean DeLeo with Eric Krantz on drums and Scott Weiland on vocals was a lethal combination. And it worked for this album and Core, the previous one. But this album for me stands out. Great album. Check it out. You won't be disappointed. That's my next choice.
Um, could they sustain it? No, and that's why we got stuff like this. I haven't even listened to this yet. I somehow came in to
Yeah.
possession of a copy of it recently, but I haven't played it. But interesting. Okay, my last pick was commercial. This one is unfortunately not. Uh, I've talked about this guy before. I talk about him about any chance I can get. Unfortunately, he's been dead for 30 years. Um, I won't get into the means of his death. It was an unfortunate accident. He had played a bit with Madonna, and he did Toy Matinee with Madonna producer Patrick Leonard, and I almost picked that, but instead I went for Kevin Gilbert's first solo album. This is actually the cover, Thud, but this edition has a bonus CD single with 4 tracks, including his version of Led Zeppelin's Kashmir, which apparently got a lot of radio play in certain markets. Kevin was a freaking genius. If you haven't checked him out, I mean, check out this, check out Toy Matinee, check out The Shaming of the True, Nuts and Bolts, Caviar, whatever you can get. Just he was uh, Cheryl Crow's boyfriend for a while, and her entry into the Tuesday Night Music Club, which led to her fame and her first album. Of course, he played on her first album and had songwriting credits on her first album, yada yada. That's a whole drama there. I'm not going to go in depth on. This should be about the music, and damn, what a tragic loss. If I could bring back one musician from the dead just to see what this man could have done in the last 30 years, wow, yeah. So Kevin Gilbert, Thud. He's not quite like anybody else. He has very uh, deep songwriting. Uh, he has a great voice. He's a multi instrumentalist. I mean, his band did a live cover of the entire Lamb Lies Down on Broadway album. So it kind of gives you an idea to go from Madonna to the Lamb Lies Down on
Yeah,
Broadway. A
yeah,
little
from
here
Madonna to
there.
Genesis. Yeah, yeah,
His
yeah.
last project he was working on before he died, Kashmir, was a very industrial, heavy sounding project with some pretty racy lyrics. So he really, truly was kind of a Renaissance man, basically. So that's my non-commercial pick, Kevin Gilbert with Thud.
My next choice, crossover, Alanis Morissette, Jagged Little Pill, 1995. My God. Yeah, this is her third release, her first release in America. She was originally signed to MCA Records for 2 albums under dance pop genre, but she was never comfortable with that label, with that genre. So she reinvented herself and got a deal with Maverick Records. Maverick, distributed through Warner Brothers, owner of Maverick, Madonna. Go with it. Um, Jagged Little Pill, massive hit. Again, it starts off with All I Really Want. You Ought to Know, the first version of that. Perfect, Hand in My Pocket, Right Through You. Took me out to wine, dine, 69 me. But didn't hear a damn word I said. Or you took a damn good look at my ass, didn't hear a damn word I said. But yeah, I like that one line, wine, dine, 69 me. I love it. But you didn't hear a damn word I said. Forgiven ends off side one, talking about the hypocrisy of the Catholic Church. Go figure. Uh, you learn head over feet, Mary Jane. Amazing track. Isn't it ironic, don't you think? Um, Not the doctor. God, wake up. Again, there's no fundamental excuse for the granted I'm taken for. Uh, an amazing album, an earworm of an album. You hear earworms, tracks are earworms, separate tracks, but this is an earworm of an album. This is so good. It was in the zeitgeist of 1995, and you couldn't escape it. And at some point, you didn't want to escape it because it was that good of an album. Uh,
And so
featuring,
influential.
oh God, featuring instrumental contributions from Flea and Dave Navarro at the time of Red Hot Chili Peppers. This album, along with Melancholy and Infinite Sadness from uh, Smashing Pumpkins, was in the zeitgeist. And she may never have topped this or matched this success again, but she's a damn good artist. I'm sorry. Supposed uh, Infatuation Junkie, an amazing follow up to it. Uh, a great album. Check it out. There is an acoustic version of this album that came out, I believe, in 2015 or 20 in '05 or 15. Check it out. This is a great album, and it should be touted as such and promoted as such. That's my next choice.
I want to go for a totally different woman this time, though. Uh, I'm back to commercial again, but it's a different type of commercial. This is a bit of a crossover country artist, even though she wasn't really country, I don't think. I always thought of her as a singer songwriter, folky type, but the country was definitely there, and she had a lot of success on the country charts in the early to mid 90s. Mary Chapin Carpenter, come on, come on.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. Ever since I first heard her version of Lucinda Williams' Passionate Kisses, yeah, I was in love with her voice. And then when I heard her own songs on the rest of this album and got her previous albums, yeah, I was completely sold. This is, her big hit album overall. It's loaded with singles. Um, I'm not going to go into depth on all of them. He thinks he'll keep her. I feel lucky. These are
Yeah.
big ones, and Passionate Kisses, of course. But really, these are all great. But I think the title track might be my favorite song on the album. It's the one that closes the album, and also I'm a Town and Only a Dream. These three songs are very haunting, almost dreamlike, and just gorgeous. Uh,
Mhm.
her voice is so soothing to me. It's like nothing else. She just makes me feel okay, and that's powerful.
It is.
So yeah, this album means a lot to me, and I still love Mary Chapin Carpenter. But yeah, this is always the sentimental favorite, and it was a monster hit.
Yeah, it
Yeah, she
was.
had to be on here. Come on, come on.
Good choice. He thinks he'll keep her. Excuse me? Fuck you.
Yeah.
It's just, like, yeah, yeah.
She met him by the door. I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah. No, I love that song. I've always loved that
Yeah,
song.
I don't love you anymore. God, that's brutal.
Mm,
Yeah, that song is brutal.
yeah. Next one on my list, 1996, Tonic, Lemon Parade. Debut release for Polydor Records. Uh, a great album. The lead-off single, If You Could Only See. Hmm. How many of us have been in that situation where we're in a relationship where not realizing it, we're led by the nose? Okay. This is a great slab of melodic hard rock, fronted by Emerson Hart, main songwriter for the band. I would also say this is a bit of Heartland rock as well. Heavy drums, beautiful production. Starts off with Open Up Your Eyes, Casual Affair, If You Could Only See, Soldier's Daughter, Tower Track, Lemon Parade, Mountain, Thick, Wicked Soldier, Mr. Golden Deal, How Do You Really Feel? It's an amazing album. Bigot Sunshine, blistering track, only 2 minutes and 53 seconds. Celtic Aggression ends off with My Old Man. There are certain albums that get you through when you feel alone. This was one of them for me. I had moved on to my own, and for the first 6 months, I didn't know what to do with myself. And this album, along with another one album that's coming up next on the list, got me through a really hard time. Lemon Parade, Tonic, check it out.
Yeah, of course, he had to be here again. Joe Jackson, Night Music. This was an absolute commercial bomb. This was, he had put out Laughter and Lust in 1991, which was, I mean, it was all over the map, but it was essentially a traditional Joe Jackson mainstream pop rock catchy song album,
Yeah,
loaded with potential hits that didn't quite manifest.
yeah,
I think it seemed like after that, well, that didn't work. So let's do whatever the hell I want. And so he did this absolutely gorgeous, largely instrumental album. In fact, there are 4 instrumental tracks out of the 10 songs, and there are not necessarily a whole lot of vocals on the songs with lyrics. The Man Who Wrote Danny Boy is the song that typically is mentioned on this album. And, a song about, selling your soul to the devil to create a great song and going to be down in the dark with Bach and the Man Who Wrote Danny Boy. And yeah, it's a very much a nighttime. Well, I mean, it literally says night music. That's the title, but it's great for
yeah.
being alone in a dark room, just laying back and letting the music wash over you. It didn't get great reviews at the time, but what do critics know?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
just, I mean, it was between this, Laughter and Lust, and Heaven and Hell. I had to have one of the 3 in here, and
yeah. I get
Night
it.
Music won the battle this time. It's
I
a
get it.
fairly obscure Joe album. It's when he kind of said screw the commercial ambitions for a long stretch. And well, he's kind of been doing that ever since. Man, I'm
Yeah.
good with that. I think he's put out some of his best work since he made that call.
My next choice, okay, is from 1997, The Tea Party with Transmission. Their their third major label release, fourth release overall. Their one and only release for Atlantic Records, released August 19th, 1997. 11 tracks in total. A mixture of hard rock with Middle Eastern influences with a tinge of industrial thrown in for good measure. Jeff Martin, Jeff Burrows, uh, Stuart Chatwood, sorry. Uh, an amazing band. Starts off with Temptation, the lead off single. Army Ants. Every track on this album is great. Again, Temptation, Army Ants, Psycho Pomp, Gyroscope. Alarum, Release, the title track Transmission, Babylon, Pulse, Emerald, one of my favorites, and ends off with Aftermath. Um, Release was written in response to uh, a news report that Jeff Martin had seen on CNN about women being treated inhumanely in places like in third world countries where practices like genitalia mutilation would happen, and just how women are looked at as uh, below men and just beneath the rest of civilization, which is disgusting. It's a heavy album. It's a melodic album. Beautiful guitar work from Jeff Martin. Uh, Beautiful keyboard work from Stuart Chatwood. Just amazing. The drumming on this album is unbelievable. It didn't do well in North America, and they were dropped from Atlantic Records. They need to be discussed more. They are coming out with a new album in 2027, apparently, but they need to be discussed more. And they are unsung heroes. If it wasn't for the Tea Party, I don't know where the hell I would be in terms of the music scene in Canada. It was very stagnant, but this is a great album. Listen to it. Transmission, Tea Party is my next choice.
I would have been shocked if there was not a Tea Party album on your 90s list.
Okay,
They're
go on.
definitely not unsung on the music den.
I love the band, and I will always love the band. So yeah, anyways, they are underappreciated. And a little side note, if you want to see a good version of Don't Give Up featuring Jeff Martin and Tina Arena done live, go on YouTube and look it up. They do a good version of Don't Give Up from Peter Gabriel and Kate Bush.
These next two are they're very different, but they're kind of connected because these two albums, you know, my wife Stacy, who's been on the channel a couple times, I mentioned her a million times. We've been together for 31 years, but I was married previously, and these two albums got a whole lot of play while I was dealing with the whole separation and divorce and whatnot. So,
Yeah.
uh, the first one, we're going back to the game of which one's the red herring, Metallica or Rush?
I still say Liberace. Go on.
Not maybe. All right, no, come on, people. Sorry, Metallica. If you were going to make it, it would have been Ride the Lightning or Master of Puppets in the 80s. Of course, it's Rush and its counterparts.
Yeah.
For the longest time, this was my favorite Rush album. Now it's just behind Snakes and Arrows. Yeah, again, another kind of unconventional choices. This was considered a return to rock, basically, by many people for them after the keyboard stuff and after, especially after the two very thin sounding Rupert Hine produced albums, Presto and Roll the Bones. So those were successful and had a lot of good stuff on them. The sound was very anemic. If you've heard Rupert Hine productions, you kind of know what he does. And I love a lot of stuff he's done, but I'm glad they didn't continue further in that vein and they brought back Peter Collins, who, had previously produced Power Windows, which I mentioned in our last episode, which
Yeah.
is nothing like this album.
Yeah.
That was bright, full of keyboards everywhere, very, very mid 80s. This is, some call it their grunge album. I mean, it's 90s hard rock, but Neil Peart's lyrics on this are so, it's where he's really getting into his exploration of human relations. He's long past most of the fantasy lyrics and basing his stuff on
Yeah.
ancient poems and stories and getting into humans. And this, the whole theme of Counterparts is human relations, and especially, kind of the male female yin yang kind of opposites of humanity. We each have a feminine side and a masculine side and whatnot. And I mean, that's addressed in the very first song, Animate, which is a heavy kick-ass rocker to start off.
Yeah, yeah, it is actually. It's quite heavy.
Yeah, some of the lyrics, "Goddess in my garden, sister in my soul, daughter of a demon lover, empress of the hidden face, priestess of the pagan mother, ancient queen of inner space."
Mm.
All these songs explore different types of counterparts. Uh, Nobody's Hero was the one that I first heard on the radio, and of course, that's a
An amazing track.
yes, it is. But yeah, it's a tearjerker too, and you really get into it. Uh, and also the closing track, "Everyday Glory." That's another one that can be a real tearjerker. The closing lyrics: "If the future is looking dark, we're the ones who have to shine. If there's no one in control, we're the ones who draw the line. Though we live in trying times,
Yeah.
we're the ones who have to try. Though we know that time has wings, we're the ones who have to fly."
Hmm.
There's a reason this man's right up there with Roger Waters as my favorite lyricist. But really,
Yeah.
the sound is beefy all over this. It's really a muscular sounding album. Tracks like "Stick It Out" really
Oh yeah. Heavy
heavy,
guitar. Yeah. Rhythm guitar.
kind of
Yeah.
heavy.
Yeah.
They hadn't done in a while, and this starts a run of, to me, five final excellent albums that, along with Power Windows, are my favorite Rush albums. So
Yeah.
the counterparts will always have a special place in my heart, even if Snakes and Arrows finally overtook it
Yeah.
at the top spot.
My next one, 1998, Madonna, Ray of Light. This was seen as Madonna's comeback album, and it was, with production by William Orbit. Rest in peace, William Orbit, who recently passed away. Uh, this album saw Madonna go for more spiritual themes and more reflective themes of reflection and introspection. Unfortunately, this saw her dive into techno and EDM and in terms of a genre and never really got out of it. Songs of note for me, really quickly: Drown World, Substitute for Love, lead off track; Ray of Light, title track; uh, Nothing Really Matters; Frozen, the lead off single; The Power of Goodbye; uh, To Have and Not to Hold, Little Star, which was another single; and it ends off with Mer Girl. Uh, Great album. Uh, a return. One of the highlights of 1998, along with Van Halen 3. Yes, I said Van Halen 3. Give it a chance. Um, but that's my next choice. Ray of Light, Madonna.
Yeah, that was good stuff. I enjoyed that phase of her career. It was actually pretty cool. Some of the
It
best
was.
mainstream pop out at that time.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's weird to think that's been 28 years ago, but that was really only 15 years into her recording career.
Hmm. Yeah, unfortunately, she's never got out of that vein, but that's another issue. That's another episode.
All right, my last one. All right, this one and counterparts could have flopped either way. Again, I said they're kind of connected in a weird way because of where I was at the time. And much like Roger Waters, previously mentioned, this is a very love it or hate it person who fronts this band.
Yeah.
Uh, of course, it's Courtney Love.
Oh,
We have
shit.
to whole live through this.
Okay.
Ooh, buddy, this was a killer, and it still is. Yeah, pretty intense stuff to listen to, especially going through a divorce and living alone for the first time in a few years, and just not knowing what's going to happen, and then having lots of strong feelings about a lot of things. And Courtney helped me get a lot of rage and angst channeled. I'll just say that.
I can imagine. Yeah.
This is a more streamlined, hook-filled version of their debut, "Pretty on the Inside," which I also like quite a bit. But that's a very different album, really. This I think was the perfect balance between the aggressive early, more independent, alternative type stuff, and the next stuff they did commercial
Yeah.
with Malibu and all that type. Yeah, that's fine too, but it's no match for Live Through This. I dug Courtney's first solo album, America's Sweetheart, too. Her attempted comeback with her as the only member of Hole without Eric Erlandson on guitar. It's good, but it's not really Hole without Eric there beside her. Those are
Yeah.
the two key members of Hole for me, and Eric is all over this with his guitar playing. So, yeah, Courtney is a very obviously polarizing figure. I'm not going to say she's a role model. I'm not even going to say she's a great singer, but she is a great vocalist. At least she
Okay.
used to be. She's very powerful. And the same lyrics, very intense, very raw, very personal and deep. And
Very emotional. Very
uh,
emotional.
one that always stood out to me was I don't really miss God, but I miss Santa Claus. That can be interpreted many ways, but
Yeah.
yeah, it always jumped out to me.
Yeah. I'm
I
thinking
kind
about
of
it right
think
now.
that, yeah, it's like maybe she doesn't miss the ego, the sexual stuff or anything, but I sure miss the piggy bank. I miss that money coming to me.
Uh-huh.
That's one
Yeah.
interpretation. There are definitely
Yeah.
many others. But yeah, this is both brutal and beautiful, and that's a tough combo to come up with.
Yeah.
Uh, Raw and melodic. I mean, it's really it's kind of counterparts, musical counterparts. So
I got
it
it.
kind of fits well with my previous choice in its
Yeah.
own way.
I got it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's my number one of the 90s.
Good choice. My last pick on my list for 1999, Dream Theater, Metropolis Part 2, Scenes from a Memory. Ooh, concept album done in 2 acts, 12 tracks. This is Jordan Rudess's debut release, debut album with the band in terms of being a band member. Uh, Concept album about an individual who is dealing with dreams of of a woman coming to him and asking him to help her find out who murdered her. And he goes through therapy, goes into regression therapy, and realizes that through reincarnation, he is actually this woman by the name of Victoria in 1928, who was murdered by a jealous lover. And the story unfolds from there. Heavy, melodic, different musical styles that come in. Uh, just an amazing piece of work, very emotional for someone who lost a family member due to violence. My sister was murdered by her husband in '02, and this album really hit home. It really did. Uh, Amazing guitar work from John Petrucci, beautiful vocals from James LaBrie, Mike Portnoy. Portnoy, sorry. What's to say? He's Mike Portnoy. What the hell? He's amazing on this album. Uh, Again, heavy, but also very accessible. And there's a section on the end of the album where a record's being a needle is being lifted off a record, and you hear that sound. That fade out is the intro to the next album, 6 Degrees of Inner Turbulence from 2000. So there's a thread going on there, like a connection. But this album, released through Elektra and East West Records, is phenomenal. Check it out. You won't be disappointed. That's my last choice. Really different lists, eh? But
Yeah, we were definitely all over the map.
which is good. Which is good. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for joining us for this episode of Have a Nice Decade, the 1990s. I want to thank Bill for this idea. This was fan fucking tastic. and he's coming back for more episodes. Okay. Please put down your list of your favorite albums from the 1990s. Doesn't matter what, you know, what year, could be all 10 from one year, could be across the decades. Let us know. Please click like and subscribe and do hit the notification bell to keep yourselves on top of any new content we've got coming up. We've got more shows coming up that we're working on. We're going to get them to you as soon as we possibly can. And join me and Ken Jeshire for Band Spotlight on Steely Dan. You heard me, Steely Dan. All right. And that's coming up. And we do appreciate you joining us for these episodes and for your support of the channel. And have a great day. Look after yourselves and one another. We'll see you soon again in music then. Bye for now.